Hello and welcome everybody to the May 8th, 2018 edition of the Ephrom Josine Show. I am your host, Ephrom Josine. So the first thing of note is Donald Trump recently decided to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. And what do I mean when I say recently? I mean today. He decided, or announced, I don't know what day he decided, to withdraw from Obama's nuclear deal with Iran. Now, if you don't know what the Iran nuclear deal is, and this is a very simplified version of it, but basically, it keeps Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I know, it's completely treasonous. Now, John Oliver did a great segment breaking down the Iran nuclear deal and debunking many of the president's criticisms of it. So I just recommend you go watch that. But to make it short, it essentially made it so Iran could not build a nuke. And anyone who understood the deal understood that. And instead, this president wants to withdraw, and did withdraw from it. Now, a lot of people have given Donald Trump credit in the sense of, at least he's not a neoconservative. And I used to think, well, maybe that's true, but he's filled his cabinet with neoconservatives like Pompeo, and he had Michael Flynn in there originally, like wanting to go to war with Iran now. He has John Bolton in there, and I could go on and on all day. James Mattis isn't entirely on the neocon band. He's against torture, so he's at least on a level of someone like McCain, where he's a little bit better, but still not by much. However, this proves to me that no, the president is a neoconservative. He is an interventionist. He is a far-righter. But you know what? Let's go back to his friends, as Donald Trump was heavily pressured to do this, according to reports. The main person he was pressured by is also one of his biggest friends on the world stage. Now, when you ask people who Donald Trump's biggest friend on the world stage is, typically they'll say Vladimir Putin or Assad al-Assad. However, that may be true, but the one that has the most influence and power is a man named Benjamin Netanyahu, who's the Prime Minister of Israel. Of course, Donald Trump is a big fan of Israel, as seen when he moved the U.S. Embassy in there to Jerusalem, which essentially killed any chance of a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. But who cares about peace, am I right? So I figured we should take a brief look into Netanyahu. Just see what kind of person he is. Now, the first thing you should know about Netanyahu is he, not entirely understandably, mind you, hates Iran. To the point where he even recently said that within 3 to 5 years, Iran would have a nuclear bomb. Oh wait, did I say recently? I meant in 1992. So, give me a second, let's see. That would mean 3 to 5 years ago was still roughly 2 decades ago, and they still don't have a nuclear bomb. Very trustworthy there. He warned about it again in 1996, when 4 of his 3 to 5 years were almost up. But even if we give him another 3 to 5 years, that's still roughly 2 decades ago. So again, this is the thing. Benjamin Netanyahu is a neoconservative. There's no nice way to put it. He's a neoconservative. I disagree with neoconservatives in the U.S. Of course I'm going to disagree with them in Israel. He also incorrectly said that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Because of course he did. Why wouldn't he predict that? However, the main thing Netanyahu is worried about is the military power and weapons in Iran. Now, it should be noted that his country, Israel, spends the most of its GDP on military, and in case you're wondering, their GDP is larger than Iran's. And for that matter, they have several bombs and several other weapons that they regularly use in Gaza territories, as well as territories controlled by Hamas. But, it's fine for them to have it because they're Israel. They're above the law. However, what's most confusing about Netanyahu's hatred of the Iran deal is the downright hypocrisy shown by it. For instance, many may know his UN address in 2012. The one where he had a giant a cartoon diagram of a bomb that he was holding up because the Iranians are getting a bomb from Acme. In case you're wondering, yes, that's the same one where he drew then leader of the Ayatollah on Wile E. Coyote and had Roadrunner with a Star of David on representing Israel. And then when asked how angry he was about this, he simply showed a picture of Yosemite Sam. Okay, maybe most of that didn't happen, but the diagram bomb one actually did. However, in his address to the UN, the thing he talks about that we need the most is red lines on Iran, specifically to stop them from building weapons. When again, Israel's allowed to do that, but we'll ignore that. Which is exactly what the Iran nuclear deal that he just helped Donald Trump destroy did. This is what infuriates me about Netanyahu. He claims to want something, then when he gets it, he says, nope. Because guess what he actually wants? War. The old neoconservative way. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you get war in the process. Now, if you want more proof of that than anything I could ever show you, I should point out that the deal has been gone for less than a day. And in that time, Israel has already done airstrikes on Syria, specifically aiming for Iranian bases, which is a clear example of an act of war. Because, of course. Okay, originally this episode was going to have more than one story. Well, technically we've had like 3 or 4 so far. Consider this the Iran deal special, if you will. However, really, that took up so much time. The only thing we can do left is filler. I know, let's listen to Steven Crowder talk about the Iran deal. Specifically, a man on his website named Corey Stallings. And his article, Top 10 Liberal Meltdowns Over Trump's Iran Deal Withdrawal. Unfortunately, I did not make it on the list. Here's what he had to say. While you were he put our twice for some reason. Tangerine-hued commander-in-chief made the announcement, we're bailing on the Iran nuclear deal. Just like he's been promising all along. So, that doesn't make it any better. Barack Obama promised to regulate Wall Street, and when he passed Dodd-Frank, which was, on a side note, really soft regulation, I didn't hear any conservatives go, well, he did promise to do that? No! You think if Bernie Sanders went in there and he put in universal health care and made college affordable for everyone like he promised to do, he was going to... I'd hear this reaction from Crowder like, he did promise. If you say yes, you do not understand the right very well. Naturally, leftist softies... What are we, in preschool now? You're a softie! Like, you couldn't think of a better insult? Are melting down over the latest blow to Barry O's legacy of suckage. Oh, I'm offended. This is the thing about Steven Crowder's website, and it's why I love it for all the wrong reasons. Because, a lot of these websites are hilarious in how they think they're being edgy, when in reality they just sound like something I'd write about maybe when I first started learning about politics. And was 9. This is stupid. You don't like it because you're stupid. The commentary, by the way, is amazing. Most of it is simply just going, "You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid." Checkmate leftists. But some of it actually does have points like this. According to leftists, we ought to base our decisions on how other countries will think of us. The top dog taking commands from his lessers is totes normal to them. And you don't understand how a global community works. We can't just go around and be the top dogs, the big ones. Because then people tend to not like that very much. Especially any of the people in the 8 countries we're intervening in right now. You know, it's hilarious to me how these people think we can live in a globalized community and still have that obnoxious egotism to us. When no, we have to either be downright isolationist or at the least heavily nationalist or swallow some of our pride. I'll let you pick which one. One of them actually would lead to a larger amount of benefits in my mind, such as free trade. That's a huge benefit. Actual lasting peace. That's a pretty big benefit right there. And the other, you can just sort of go, yeah, for about all you want. Then when people talk about the possibility of starting war, the author says, yeah, we've heard all this before with the handling of the fat boy in North Korea. Essentially, he's talking about the fact that North Korea is now willing to demilitarize and actually come to the table. You may even say they're willing to make a deal about nukes. Huh. If only we could do such a thing with Iran. If only. I'm Ephrom, and good night.